Hey girls, we're gonna do sweet potatoes today. So let's see, I've already got them peeled and rinsed off and they kind of dried a little bit. I think they're easier to cut when they're dry. But we're gonna cut our, you might want to cut them into like smaller section because it's easier to work with. But you want to cut them into wedges. Probably like that. They cook a little better, I think, when you do it that way. And I have about 8 potatoes here because, you know, even though everybody claims they don't like them, they eat them. So I'm going to finish cutting these potatoes and then I'll show you the next step. Alright, we got all of our potatoes cut up into nice pretty wedges. And I cut out all the bad spots that were in them. So let me grab a baking dish and some spices and then we'll finish up. Alright, as you already know, I don't measure anything, but we're going to sprinkle some nutmeg on first. And then a little bit of cloves, ground cloves. And then we're going to do some allspice. Just a little bit of the allspice and cloves because they're pretty strong. And we're going to put a generous amount of ginger, ground ginger. And some cinnamon. And a little bit of sea salt. And a sprinkle of orange peel. Oops. And we're going to put some raw sugar on here. And some honey granules. And then we're going to use some light brown sugar. I like to be generous with the brown sugar because I feel like it helps with the juices. Because we're going to save any of the juices it creates. And we're going to make this my famous sauce. Alright, now I'm going to mix this up with both of my hands. And then once I get it in the baking dish, I'll come back to you. Alright, we have the sweet potatoes in the dish, the baking dish. I put extra brown sugar on them, light brown. And I also used a stick of butter to put on top, and I threw a few ice cubes on it. And I'm gonna wrap this in foil. I'm gonna try to make it real tight. And I'm gonna bake it at 350 until the potatoes are done. And once they're done, then we'll have a whole nother process to do. But bake them at 350 for at least 45. Just keep checking on them. Alright, I got them nice and covered tightly with foil. I'm gonna poke just a couple little holes. Maybe it'll help with steam. And then if you don't have one of these knives, you should get one. It's a Pampered Chef knife. It's pretty dang nice. But as soon as the oven's ready, we're going to throw them in, and as soon as they're done baking, I'll get back to you. Potatoes are done. Now we get to drain them so we can save the juices.
don't really care for the brush.
Alright, and in a minute we're gonna move to the stove top. I gotta put these potatoes back in the dish. Alright, we put the juices from the potatoes in a pot. I don't think I'm gonna add any more spices to it because I added a lot when I baked the potatoes, sweet potatoes. So I got the heat going. I'm gonna add a couple more things of butter, even though I put a couple of pats in the potatoes after I drained them. But we're gonna add more to this. This is the secret ingredient. Brandy. We're gonna put, let's see. One, 2 cups of brandy, and a couple more shakes of the orange peel, and a decent squeeze of syrup. You can use any kind. I just used that. And we're gonna get the dark brown sugar. And I don't measure anything. I just grab handfuls and sprinkle it in. You might need a lot because I gotta make it thick. Well, if you're doing a big batch anyway. Alright. We're gonna cook this till it boils. And we're gonna cook it until it thickens up. So I'll come back to you when we're almost done. Just wanted to show that where I put the extra pats of butter in the potatoes. And when I mixed them, I used the fork to kind of break them up a little bit. And they're actually really good like this. But once this topping's done, they'll be even better. They're good though. And this is 8 potatoes. It makes a pretty big dish. I don't know if you can see how big it is. Oops. It's a big dish. Really big dish. They'll be gone tomorrow. We got this boiling. We're gonna boil it like this until it thickens up. If your mixture is too watery, you may need to add some more sugar. I would add light brown sugar to this. I think there's enough dark brown. And you want to keep an eye on this process. Don't walk away while you're cooking this, because you're basically boiling all the water out of it until it thickens. So don't let it just sit on the stove or you're going to ruin it. You got to keep an eye on it. Alright, I cooked it long enough. This is what it looks like. It's kind of frothy looking. But it looks good. All the water's out of it. It's nice and thick. Now we're going to turn this off and mix it in the potatoes. Alright, now it's time to put the topping on. The stuff that you just cooked. Nice and thick. Ooh, look how pretty that is.
You're recording?
Yes. Alright. I'm going to mix some of that up. Get it in there.
done. So tomorrow, when we go to heat these up, put them in a baking dish, throw them in the oven, heat them up. Then after we get them warm, we're gonna put marshmallow on top, and then they're done. And you have your sweet potatoes. And if you want, you can sprinkle your marshmallows with cinnamon. But we're done. There's your potatoes.